with their teaching approach.
Okay, so switching gears a little bit, another very important form of collaboration that is involved with teaching on a daily basis is that with parents and guardians of your students. Can you please describe how you keep parents and guardians in the loop with what's going on in your class?
We can't teach in a vacuum. The school, the teacher, the parent, the community, they're all involved. They have to be involved. If they're not involved, the child misses out. A lot happens at home, and sometimes when you know what's going on at home, of your 130 so students, it's good because it helps you approach that child. For me, this is very important. It's a bonding experience. I must know as much as possible about my students, and their parents must know as well what I'm trying to do, how I'm trying to work with them and help them. I usually give them calls, mostly when things are not going right, but I also have my Google Classrooms. I teach on Google Classroom. I have them all set up to send emails whenever I post a new assignment, when I post grades, and parents can see them. I also print out copies of the grade book periodically and have students take those home. Some students obviously do not let their parents know or show their parents, or the parents are too busy and they're not involved in their child's education. Then I end up giving a call to the parents, sending an email if they can understand, if they have an email set up, and sometimes I use the language line. In fact, I use the language line a lot because we have a huge Hispanic group, and most parents do not understand English, so I always have to get the language line. I do that not just from school but also from home because there's not really much time in school to do that. However, I am on text basis with some parents, quite a few in fact. How I approach parents, first they know what's going on. I make sure that they do. I think I've almost contacted almost every parent, mostly for students who need extra help. I always, and my call to them or email to them always begins with some positives, because every child has positives. Every child is a child and we have to look for those. And then I sort of gently break into what's actually going on. If there are issues that I need help with, parents, I talked to a parent today about a student who needed to serve detention after school on Friday today, and I was really worried because that wasn't my student, but this student had been very disrespectful and violent during testing, and I had to inform parents that he would have to serve detention for what he did. And I was really worried because he's not my student, but I had to call. It's a requirement. I had to also document it in our system, but the mom was very, very supportive, and I was really surprised because I was worried. She said she'd already come in yesterday because there'd been another incident, and these calls home help a child. Children don't like it. They always tell me, you call my mom, but I always tell them I love you, that's why I called you mom. But yes, we need to have that three-way, we're all in this together, not just the teacher alone, the student alone, and the family alone. We have to all work together.
Do you remember the first phone call home you ever made? Or have you made so many now that it's sort of out of your memory?
No, I do remember.
Was it nerve-wracking for you?
It was very nerve-wracking. I was terrified because the student was a bit, she was also a difficult student. She would just sometimes, curse me out. And I'd heard that mom was a bit tough too, so teachers had already warned me, and that scared me a lot. And I gently spoke. I broke it down, but it wasn't a good experience. But I learned from it because you just have to, you have to be extremely sweet, extremely nice, and, talk about the issues in a very roundabout way, a gentle way. And I learned from that experience. And even today I get some parents who don't like me calling them, some parents who get upset by my calls. But yeah, I'll never forget that first call home.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Malik, for your time and for your advice. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Good luck.
Thank you.